Okay, Pak Matt, you may
All
start.
right. Welcome, everybody. I'm so happy to see so many people here. So my job here tonight is to be the official MC of the evening. I'm very happy to be here representing the Indonesian Embassy and also my organization, Nusantara Arts. My organization is located in Buffalo, New York. We're a nonprofit organization dedicated to Indonesian culture and arts. And we do gamelan, we do dance and wayang, and we've been coordinating with the embassy on some very fun events over the last year during COVID times. We did Indonesian Culture Night in December, and we also did a series of lectures on Indonesian cultural topics from gamelan masters. And then you can go to our website, nusantaraarts.com, to find all of that material, which is saved there for posterity. And the event that we are here for tonight is the opening of the Indonesian Embassy's virtual classes, which is such a cool thing. It's really wonderful that actually we've been able to open up these classes to people all over the United States so that we can get so much participation and really spread the culture of Indonesia to new people, and to people who have been studying it for a long time can continue their learning experiences and getting deeper involved with the wonderful culture of Indonesia. I personally am very happy to be involved with the embassy because of this free and accessible information and classes, which is there just to encourage people to become more acquainted with the wonderful culture of Indonesia. So we do have a lot of people here tonight, which is great. We have representatives from different US universities who are involved in developing the Indonesian language. We do have people who have been studying Indonesian language in the US for some time, some people who are new to studying Indonesian. We have APHIS, which is here, the American Institute of Indonesian Studies. We have participants in a Fulbright foreign language teaching assistant for the period of 2019 to 2021. We also have members of COTI, which is a consortium for the teaching of Indonesian. We have teachers here from the Indonesian Embassy who are doing the classes from the Indonesian Embassy. And we have participants of the virtual Indonesian language class from the Embassy that are going to be participating in 2021. So I want to welcome everybody and thank you for coming. And maybe we are going to start off by experiencing and participating in a playing of the national anthem from Indonesia. So we have some people in the chat right now commenting that it's a really great national anthem and it makes you feel really strongly about Indonesia. I love it. I think it's great. All right, so what are these spring classes that are being offered by the embassy? So there's a few different classes. There's going to be an Indonesian language class. There's going to be a Javanese langgam singing class, which is a classical genre of Javanese singing. And there's going to be a Jaipongan dance class, which is really fun dancing from West Java, from Sunda. So these classes are going to be held in the spring and fall of 2021, once a week for 2 hours each. So at the end of the program, all the students will be able to do a virtual showcase of the activities that they've learned, such as language proficiency, singing, and performing. And I can't wait to join those as well, those virtual activities. So there will also be a test of the Indonesian language proficiency that will happen at the end of the course, and we will see how well everybody does. I would suggest everybody takes the Indonesian class, especially if you're going to be traveling to Indonesia at some time. It's wonderful to learn the language. That way, when you travel to Indonesia, you can really experience and communicate with Indonesians on a higher level. So this class is going to be open tomorrow, actually, Friday, April 9th. So we are very happy to be doing sort of the promotional video for that today and sort of giving the information about that class today. So the next guest for tonight is going to be Andrea Decker, who is going to do an example of a Javanese folk song here. So Andrea is a master's in ethnomusicology from the University of California, Riverside. She is one of the previous participants in the langgam singing class. And she lived in Indonesia and often went singing with a dangdut koplo group. Oh, no, the dangdut group was called koplo, I'm sorry. While she was actually doing her research in Indonesia on television stations. So Andrea is going to be giving us a performance tonight.
Okay, thank you, Matt. And I'm going to sing what I sang for the class Langgam Jawa showcase, which is called Nidam Sari. It's a beautiful song. Asmara kaya ta awakku dewe toteva batara wela sono mringwa mami besok kapan katakan jejelan wong ayu da umpamakna nakoda tanpa perahu sasadoro dan pepetri Nidam Sari Asmara. seliramu sekar melati, aku kumbang ngidam sari. Apa seliramu margi wang manis, aku kan bakal lewati. Sinek sen lintang hidupku semono, janji bersetia ning ati. Tansah kumanti ning netra rinoso, krasa rasaning driya. Miderosa jagat raya, kalingono ukir lan samudra. Ora ilang memanisir atur, dati hati selawasi. Nalikane raing dalu atiku, lan lamun sira wong ayu. Nganti mati ora bakal lali, lakae lintange mlaku. Umpama seliramu sekar melati, aku kumbang ngidam sari. Umpama seliramu margi wong manis, aku Terima kasih semua. The name of the song, oh yes, is Nidam Sari, and it's already in chat.
Wow, thank you so much, Andrea. They have a wonderful voice, and we need more. We need more Indonesian, Javanese singers in the United States, and it's really amazing to have people learning that style because it's still very rare. So, do you play? Do you sing with any groups in the United States?
I don't currently. Sometimes I sing with the gamelan at UC Riverside, but because of the pandemic, we haven't been able to meet. So it's been a wonderful opportunity to be able to do the class at the embassy, especially because it's so rare to be able to do Langgam Jawa as well, because it's kind of a light classical music as opposed to what most gamelans play a lot of the time. And it's a genre I really enjoy.
Yeah, Langgam is wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right. So the next speaker we have for the evening, we have some opening remarks from the Charge d'Affaires of the Indonesian Embassy in Washington, D.C., who's Mr. Iwan Freddy Hari Susanto.
You may call again.
Oh, yeah, sure. Mr. Iwan Freddy Hari Susanto, the Charge d'Affaires from the Indonesian Embassy of Washington, D.C. will now be giving some opening remarks. Mr. Iwan, if you are there. Oh, I see you. Iwan, are you there? Oh, he's there, but I cannot hear you, Pak Iwan. Oh, yeah. There we go.
Hello, Pak. Can you hear me, Pak?
Ya, bisa. Selamat datang.
Sorry, Pak.
Terima kasih.
Technical problems, Pak. Just a second, Pak. Thank you, Pak Matt Dunning. Yang kami hormati Pak Hilmar Farid, Dirjen Kebudayaan Kemdikbud. Yang kami hormati Pak Endang Aminuddin Aziz, Kepala Badan Pengembangan dan Pembinaan Bahasa Kemdikbud. Yang kami hormati Bu Popi, Pak Yudo, Pak Jaya, dan juga Bu Popi dari KJRI LA. I would also like to acknowledge the presence of Pak Alan Feinstein, Executive Director of Fulbright Aminef, Pak Bob Hefner, President of American Institute for Indonesian Studies, Pak Siddharth Chandra, Director for Asian Studies Center, Michigan State University, my friend Pak Eric Jones of Northern Illinois University, members of Consortium for the Teaching of Indonesia, or COTI, all teachers of the Indonesian language virtual class, and of course, all participants, students of the Indonesian Embassy's virtual class. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to welcome all of you to this special event to join us to launch the virtual class of Bahasa Indonesia organized by the Indonesian Embassy in Washington, D.C. The COVID-19 outbreak has changed the way we promote Bahasa Indonesia and our traditional culture in the US. Since last year, we have been organizing online classes both for Bahasa Indonesia, Langgam Sinden, and Jaipongan. Though through online, I am proud to announce that the number of participants who have applied to join these virtual classes keep increasing. For this year's program alone, there will be at least 265 Americans who will be attending Indonesian language and cultural programs. This clearly shows that the interest of Americans to learn about Indonesia remains high despite the pandemic. This is, of course, very positive and encouraging. The role of Bahasa Indonesia and Indonesian studies in American higher education institutions and Indonesian culture are instrumental to help shape the directions of our today's increasingly growing bilateral relationship. According to some surveys, Americans who have studied Indonesia and Bahasa Indonesia and our culture tend to have a better understanding, respect, trust towards Indonesia and Indonesians. The positive messages and news on Indonesia will, of course, bring positive energy and at the same time, optimism for Americans. So with this fact in mind, you can easily witness the significant contribution of the Fulbright AMINEF, IFIS, COTI, FLTA, and virtual classroom of Bahasa Indonesia in producing new generation of Americans who are more Indonesia literate and Indonesia aware. We are also very much encouraged by the strong interest and support from the US government, universities, and cultural organizations for the promotion of Bahasa Indonesia and Indonesian culture in the US. Hence, allow me to extend my utmost gratitude and appreciation to Fulbright, IFIS, COTI, FTA, and all teachers of Indonesian Embassy's virtual class of Bahasa Indonesia, Pak Andang, Pak Berlin, Pak Kadek Sanjaya, Buni Bunga Dewi, Bu Nona, dan Pak Wimbo. Also, of course, to Fulbright AMINEF, COTI and FLTA, Pak Bob, Pak Sidat, Pak Erik, and of course, Pak Muryanto, Bu Dery, and Bu Nur Fitriana. And to, of course, Pak Math and Yotim from Nusantara Arts. Mastering Indonesian language is a right, crucial, and strategic choice for Americans in order to know better about Indonesia, to connect better with Indonesia, and to engage better with Indonesia. Bahasa Indonesia is spoken by approximately 300 million people on Earth, making it a language with one of the highest number of speakers in the world. So I assure you that for Americans, being Indonesian language speakers is not only rewarding for you, but also promising. I hope you will enjoy the virtual class of Bahasa Indonesia, Langgam Sinden, and Jaipongan dance. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pak Iwan, for your wonderful words. I have to agree with you. I think that the profile of Indonesian cultural and educational opportunities and enjoyment is increasing in the United States. You know, we have, if you look on this call, we have a lot of people on this call who are actually young people. And it's very encouraging to see young people getting into Indonesian culture and arts for the first time, because that ensures that we can continue to grow and bring more people into this wonderful tradition, which is so much to offer. Okay, the next thing we have on our schedule is going to be a performance here, a poetry reading, actually, by Stephen Lewis Spanos. So Stephen is a master's student from Georgetown University, who won the first position of the Indonesian language class in 2020 that was held by the Indonesian Embassy. So this victory was achieved after he succeeded in giving an outstanding speech about the diversity of languages in Indonesia in front of 3 judges. So Indonesia, as many people know, is one of the, if not the most diverse countries in the world in terms of the number of languages that are spoken. I believe it's over 200 languages that are spoken in Indonesia. But the lingua franca of Indonesian really ties the entire country together in a way that's actually incredible. So we have Stephen here who is going to read a poem for us today. 700 plus languages. Thank you, Alan.
Halo semuanya. Awalnya saya pikir saya sebaiknya berbicara tentang pentingnya belajar bahasa Indonesia, yaitu orang Indonesia ramah sekali, ekonomi sedang berkembang dan budaya yang menarik. Tetapi kalian semua memiliki alasan sendiri untuk belajar. Jadi saya hanya akan berbicara tentang satu ekspresi yang saya pernah mendengar dalam bahasa Indonesia dan yang menurut saya penting untuk belajar bahasa. Ini adalah ada berbagai variasi, tetapi dasarnya saya minta maaf atas kesalahan yang telah saya lakukan. Ekspresi ini bagus karena kalau kita belajar bahasa, kita pasti akan membuat kesalahan. Dan ini bagus karena cara terbaik untuk belajar adalah coba kata-kata dan tata bahasa baru. Jadi, mari terus membuat kesalahan, dan saya mohon maaf atas kesalahan yang telah saya lakukan.
Thank you, Stephen. Stephen, was the Indonesian language class the first time you studied Indonesian, or did you study it before the class?
I went to Indonesia for Peace Corps, and that was, in classes there, it was the first time I studied it. So it was a kind of immersion experience.
Very cool. Where did you live in Indonesia?
I was in Malang for the first 3 months in Batu, and then was in Kediri.
Wow, that's incredible. I never got to go to those places. I lived in Indonesia on the Dharma Siswa Scholarship, which is another wonderful opportunity to visit Indonesia. It's an Indonesian government scholarship. And I would suggest everybody look into it. I think you have to be under 35 and have graduated university to join that. We have another speaker up next. So I would like to welcome and say thank you to the attendance of the General Director of the Ministry in Education and Culture, Dr. Hilmar Farid, who will be, I believe, be presenting a pre-recorded audio and video message for us tonight.
Salam budaya, saya Hilmar Farid, Dirjen Kebudayaan di Kementerian Pendidikan dan Kebudayaan. Pertama-tama mengucapkan selamat dan menyambut baik atas terselenggaranya program Free Virtual Class Spring and Fall Season 2021 yang diselenggarakan oleh KBRI Washington DC. Dan saya mendengar ada beberapa program yang menarik, yaitu bahasa Indonesia tingkat pemula dan lanjut, dan juga ada menyindan langgam Jawa, serta menari jaipongan. Dan ini semua memperlihatkan bahwa kebudayaan adalah sarana komunikasi yang sangat efektif dan jembatan hubungan antar bangsa. Dan kita berharap dengan adanya program ini, maka citra positif Indonesia di Amerika Serikat pada khususnya akan terus meningkat, dan juga tentunya hubungan kerjasama yang erat di antara Amerika dan Indonesia. Demikian, salam budaya.
Oh, still muted. Here we go. Sorry about that. And of course, we know it's hard to be here in person. Of course, we thank the minister for joining us virtually, as it is a little bit early in the morning in Indonesia right now. Next, we have a wonderful performance, a live performance for you all of Jaipong dance. So we have two performers. We have Dari Al-Badri. They're the instructor of Jaipong dance in the Indonesian embassy for last fall, 2020, and is a professional dancer. And we also have Nur Fitriani Padria, a dance stylist from Bandung, Indonesia. So the dance they're going to be doing is called the Chikruhan dance, which originated from the Tap Pilu, which tells the expression of the joy, warmth, eroticism, and humor of the Ronggang and Pamogaran. It has become an attraction to improve the quality of the dancing skills of the performers, and it is a new experience. So this dance is a social dance, and it is an expression of folk dance in Indonesia. That was so cool to see. I haven't seen Jaipong dance since I lived in Indonesia, actually. It's very cool that there's a class that we can take virtually right now. Is Derry here right now? Derry, if you're here, would you like to tell us about the Jaipong class that's coming up?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Tidak
Yeah,
masalah untuk bahasa
welcome.
Indonesia.
Yeah.
Ya,
Yeah. Yeah. Ada informasi untuk kelas Jaipong yang tahun ini.
terima kasih. Selamat sore waktu sana dan selamat pagi waktu Indonesia. Terima kasih atas undangan dan kepercayaannya untuk saya mengajar di di virtual class, terutama di kelas Jaipongan. Nanti ke depannya itu kita akan memberikan materi Jaipongan kreasi. Ya, mudah-mudahan semua yang masuk kelas Jaipongan nyaman dan menerima materi dengan baik. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih dari Mas Dery.
Oke.
Okay, the next speaker is going to be the head of the Badan Bahasa Ministry of Education and Culture, Professor Aminuddin Aziz.
Hi, good morning from Indonesia, and good evening for you in the States. Selamat pagi dan salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Pertama, saya ingin mengucapkan selamat pagi dari Indonesia kepada Pak Iwan dari Kedutaan Besar Republik Indonesia, and also special thanks to Ibu Poppy, the Education and Culture Attaché from the Indonesian Embassy in Washington, D.C. And also to the Executive Director of Amin F. Fulbright of Indonesia, Dr. Alan Feinstein. This is really something wonderful to see you. Many of you have learned Indonesian language, and probably many of you will start learning Indonesian. Saya Aminuddin Aziz, Kepala Badan Bahasa di Kementerian Pendidikan dan Kebudayaan. Kalau sebelumnya, ya, in the past you only had was it Dharma Siswa as the scholarship provided for foreigners. In Badan Bahasa at the moment, yeah, we also offer 2 other scholarships for you who are interested in learning Bahasa Indonesia. One we call as BIPA scholarship. This is the scholarships offered to those who are interested in learning Bahasa Indonesia for intensively in Indonesia for 1 year, and you will focus on learning Bahasa Indonesia in Badan Bahasa. And the other one is what we call BIPA fellowships. These scholarships is for those who have mastered some Indonesian and they are willing to become teachers of Indonesian in their countries. So the training will be up to 1 year, 6 months for upgrading the Indonesian language competence, and the other 6 months is for the language teaching methodology, Indonesian language teaching methodology. And this is a new scheme that we developed in Badan Bahasa since my appointment last year, because formally before I became the head of the language center, I was also the education and cultural attaché in the Indonesian embassy in London. So I am quite familiar how we will have to organize Indonesian language and cultural programs in the embassy. So thanks to Ibu Poppy and also to Indonesian embassy and to all of friends of Indonesia in the States. As has been mentioned earlier by some of you and also mentioned by Pak Iwan from the embassy, that learning Indonesian is not as difficult as many people think in the first instance. Although gradually we have been informed by learners of Indonesian that the one of the most difficult parts of learning Indonesian is about the morphology, about the construction, the formations of words, which sometimes confusing to many of learners. But don't worry about that, because you will catch up with this later after you learn the language. Secondly, I will also would like to inform you that since COVID-19, this is very unfortunate for us, because we cannot send teachers to overseas just because of the travel restrictions. So we have conducted many classes online, and so far we have organized classes to be offered to more than 30 countries, and now United States is another one. So we will have more classes in the future, but this is online. Once the pandemic is over, we will send teachers to overseas, and our team in Badan Bahasa will be very happy to help you to have more classes. And I heard from Ibu Poppy that the participants for these Indonesian classes are more than 200 people, and this is something amazing. So we will reach the target to have about 100,000 learners of Indonesian by the year 2024. And this program, Indonesian language lessons, have become one of the national priority from the Ministry of Education and Culture. So our team from Badan Bahasa will work very hard to help you, and I hope you will enjoy the classes, although this is still virtually, but you will find the program very interesting. And once you see the pandemic is over, and then we will have you here in Indonesia to join not only Dharma Siswa, but also the BIPA scholarship and also the BIPA fellowships. Even if it is not this year, hopefully we will have this next year, and you will become part of our team to teach Indonesian in the States. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor. I have one question for you.
Yes.
Where is the place that people can go to find out more information about these scholarships and programs?
Yeah, we will send this full information to Ibu Poppy, to the embassy, and Ibu Poppy later on will be able to distribute the information to all of you who are interested in learning more Indonesian.
Okay, thank you so much, and thank you for joining us from Indonesia.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Okay, we have another performance next. Return of Ba Andrea, who's going to be singing us another track here. What are you going to sing us this time?
So this time, the music that I researched is called Dangdut Koplo, and so I'm going to sing a song that was very popular just a few years ago. It's called Lagi Shantik by Siti Badriah. So a little different feel for this one. Ayo goyang semuanya. Emang lagi cantik, tik, 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 tik. Hei sayangku, hari ini aku cantik, cantik bagai bidadari, bidadari di hatimu. Sayangku, perlakukanlah diriku seperti seorang ratu, ku ingin dimanja kamu. Hei sayangku, hari ini aku cantik, cantik bagai bidadari, bidadari di hatimu. Sayangku, perlakukanlah diriku seperti seorang ratu, ku ingin dimanja kamu. Emang lagi manja, lagi pengen dimanja, pengen berduaan dengan dirimu saja. Emang lagi cantik, tapi bukan so cantik. Cantik-cantik ini hanya untuk dirimu. Hei sayangku, hari ini aku cantik, cantik bagai bidadari, bidadari di hatimu. Sayangku, perlakukanlah diriku seperti seorang ratu, ku ingin dimanja kamu. Emang lagi cantik, tik, 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 tik. Emang lagi cantik, tik, tik, tik. Emang lagi manja, lagi pengen dimanja, pengen berduaan dengan dirimu saja. Emang lagi cantik, tapi bukan so cantik. Cantik-cantik ini hanya untuk dirimu. Emang lagi manja, lagi pengen dimanja, pengen berduaan dengan dirimu saja. Emang lagi cantik, tapi bukan so cantik. Cantik-cantik ini hanya untuk dirimu. Terima kasih.
Thank you. It brings me back to going to dangdut concerts in Solo. It's so much fun. Somebody asked if you learned Indonesian before you started singing this music, or did you start singing first?
I learned Indonesian first. I went to Indonesia to study the language first. I was already interested in gamelan, but when I got to Indonesia, that was when I discovered dangdut and thought it was just so much fun and started learning about that too.
Cool. Thank you so much. We have a question for Bu Poppy that was in the chat as well about the language class. Several people were asking that if they take and enjoy the spring beginner language class, is there a way to sign up for the fall intermediate language class?
Yes, yeah. All class are available, not only spring, but also fall, even for beginner and then also for intermediate.
Okay, great.
Sign up for this spring and also for fall.
Okay, thank you, Bu Hopi. We have another guest speaker here tonight, somebody who is a special guest. So we have the executive director of Fulbright, Amanef, Indonesia, Mr. Alan Feinstein. So Mr. Alan Feinstein joined Amanef in 2014. He has a long and personal and professional connection with Indonesian since he first came to Indonesia in 1971. He's interested in Indonesia's performing arts heritage from several universities and studied Javanese and Balinese gamelan and dance music and wayang. He studied Indonesian and Javanese language in Solo and continued studying Javanese performing arts in Yogyakarta and Solo. Alan holds a doctorate degree from the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, and through a Fulbright Hayes doctoral dissertation research abroad fellowship, he did research on Javanese literature and music in Solo from 1984 to 1985. So we welcome you, Dr. Alan Feinstein, and thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, Matt. There are many people to thank here. This is quite an overwhelming group. I feel like my life is passing before me here. I have people from all ages in my life. Okay, let me first thank His Excellency Pak Iwan. And I really appreciated his opening remarks, and also Pak Dirjen Hilmar Farid, who couldn't be with us, but always gives brilliant remarks, as well as Professor Aminuddin from the Badan Bahasa. Finally, in terms of thanking, I want to thank Ibu Popi, the Education and Cultural Attaché of the Indonesian Embassy, who's done a tremendous job, I think, and in opening up opportunities, in going public with so many great ideas, including these virtual classes. So I think that's we are all in her debt. I think that she is an important agent of exchange and understanding between Indonesia and the US. And we're in her debt, and I thank her very much for inviting me here today. Amanef has worked together with the embassy before, and we hope to continue to collaborate. Now, Ibu Popi asked me when she invited me to talk specifically about the Fulbright FLTA program. Let me just say that language and arts, performing arts, are very often vehicles for international understanding. And so many people, and myself included, started our knowledge of Indonesia through performing arts. So it's a very powerful way of getting to know another culture, and it can lead to all sorts of things that you never planned. In my case, that was certainly true. I was a student at Wesleyan University in the late 60s and studying Western philosophy and history and literature, and went to a gamelan concert because Wesleyan was one of, I think, two or three universities in the US at the time that actually had a gamelan and a teacher from Indonesia teaching Javanese music. Michigan and UCLA being the others, I think. I joined the group and it changed my life. I had no intention at that moment of changing my life, but that's what it led to. Okay, and here I find people like Jody Diamond who went with me to join this group that went to Indonesia in 1971. We studied Javanese and Balinese music in Bali under the aegis of the late lamented Bob Brown, who developed the world music program at Wesleyan. Anyway, I don't want to go on too long about it, and I can see there's lots of interest from people to learn Indonesian and to study performing arts. I just want to point out that it often leads you in directions that you never really knew you would follow, and very rewarding ones. Okay, let me just talk briefly about Fulbright. AMINEF is the American-Indonesia Exchange Foundation, and we are the bilateral Fulbright Commission in Indonesia. We're an Indonesian yayasan, a foundation that was founded by both countries, and we manage the Fulbright program, which, as you probably all know, is the premier academic exchange program funded by the US government. There are many Fulbrighters here among you, Andrea being one, for instance. And Janika, I noticed, was ETA in Indonesia, and there are several others. Jody herself was a Fulbrighter. Okay, Bob Hefner from Boston University, who's a distinguished professor now, was also a Fulbright Hayes grantee. And by the way, I remember him performing Ketoprak at Indonesian Summer Studies Institute, ISI they called it, at Berkeley in mid 70s. So even Professor Hefner has been involved through the arts. The FLTA program, Foreign Language Teaching Assistance Program, is sponsored by the Department of State, and it allows people from certain countries to go to the US and teach in US universities. Now for Indonesia, it's been going for about, I don't know, 12 or 13 years, and we send about 10 people per year to the US. There are currently, I believe, 9 people in the US teaching this year. This is a very difficult year, of course. And first semester, since the Fulbright program was suspended, people had to teach online in the middle of the night from Indonesia. But people are teaching at Georgia, at Harvard, at Yale, Stanford, Hawaii, various universities. The universities compete to ask for an Indonesian language teacher, and the applicants, of course, have to apply, and they are chosen after a very rigorous selection process, as with all Fulbright grants. But we have some wonderful teachers. We allow people who are teachers of English or who are teachers of BIPA, as it were, as Pak Aminuddin explained. Bahasa Indonesia untuk Penutur Asing is what BIPA stands for, Indonesian as a foreign language, basically. And they take courses as well as teaching at American universities. And of course, it's enormously useful for them to get to know the US and to practice their teaching skills. And very often they take courses in language pedagogy. Ibu Sidrotun is just entering. She's also a Fulbrighter. I'm seeing people as they come in because I'm being asked to admit people to this. So welcome to Ibu Sidrotun, a distinguished Fulbrighter who did her PhD in Arizona and Harvard in biology. In addition, on the other side, we also have a program called Fulbright ETAs. These are Americans who come to Indonesia and co-teach English in high schools. Unfortunately, that program is on hiatus because of the COVID pandemic, but we hope that it will pick up once it's possible for people to travel and to get visas and for Indonesian high schools to open up in-person learning. But it's a kind of mirror image of the FLTA program. And for those of you, taking these virtual classes, you should also keep in mind the Fulbright program, which gives grants for students and scholars to do research, including in the arts and in various academic disciplines, and for the Fulbright senior scholars also to teach for a semester at an Indonesian university. So these are great opportunities. I'm really pleased to see this virtual class. I should just say, this has been a very difficult year for so many people, and there's nothing really good you could say about a global pandemic. However, we have learned how to do things during a pandemic, and it has opened up opportunities that probably we never thought about before. And I think Ibu Popi's ideas of having virtual classes is one of those. I think it's a great thing. As I was saying, back in the 60s and 70s, there weren't that many universities where you could study Indonesian or study about Indonesian culture. Now there are hundreds of universities with performing groups, Balinese, Javanese, other Sundanese, other parts of Indonesia, in terms of music and dance, performing arts, and many more universities that offer Indonesian language teaching. And we want to encourage this. And that's why I think it's so great that the embassy, KBRI Washington, is doing this. And I salute the efforts. And I hope you all get a lot out of the virtual classes in Sindanan and Chaipongan, and of course in Bahasa Indonesia. These are all part of a number of institutions like APHIS, the American Institute for Indonesian Studies, COTI, the American Indonesian Chamber of Commerce that Wayne Forrest runs, and they also have an educational foundation too, Peace Corps, CLS, which gives intensive language training in Malang, plus the various home institutions where the FLTAs come from, like Berlin, he's online here. I don't know if you can see him, a very successful FLTA and has taught many generations of Americans at the Wisma Bahasa in Jogja. So there are many, many opportunities, and I hope you will make use of them. And I wish you all good luck. And I thank you so much for inviting me here this morning in Indonesia, in the evening in Washington. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alan, for your wonderful remarks. Can I ask you where, if people want to find out more information about the Fulbright programming, where they can go?
Yeah, there's a wealth of information at our website. I'll put it's aminef.or.id. I'll put it in the chat box there. And there's lots of information there, including information about alumni, and you can read some of the stories of the people who have done programs both coming and going. And Ibu Popi is publishing a book, I think she's already published it, which documents the FLTA's experiences in the US, extremely interesting, which I'm sure will encourage more people to apply for that program, which we think is very positive, of course. So stay in touch with the embassy too. And they help us also spread information about the opportunities that these various organizations that I mentioned earlier offer.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Alan. It seems to be very obvious from this meeting that there are so many opportunities actually to be involved in Indonesian culture and education and learning for people of all ages and all interests. It's a really wonderful group of people we've gotten here together to tell about these opportunities. So thank you everybody for expressing these things. I would like to now invite Bu Popi to introduce the classes that are going to be starting this spring.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Matt, for very comprehensive as a host of the opening virtual class. So before we introduce the teachers, the instructor for all the virtual classes, we would like to invite Professor Robert Hefner from, he is currently the newly president of American Institute for Indonesian Studies. If Professor Bob here, we would like to call you and then introduce you to the participant. Professor Bob, are you? Yeah, okay. Okay, Professor Bob, please introduce yourself and also the activity of APHIS.
Thank you very much, Ibu, and thank you. I want to thank Pak Iwan and Pak Aminuddin, and of course Alan Feinstein as well, who brought back a very fine memory from many years ago, I must say. APHIS is the American Institute for Indonesian Studies, and it is a body which is singularly committed to collaboration, enhancing collaboration between scholars in Indonesia and students, scholars, and others in the United States. So our primary function is really to enhance collaboration and exchange between these two great countries. I would say we operate on a much smaller scale, obviously, than AMINEF, but we, on the other hand, what we lack in terms of scale, we make up in terms of reaching out and embracing large numbers of students and faculty from diverse backgrounds, including now major outreach to the natural sciences, law, and professions, in addition to those disciplines that have historically been most actively involved in Indonesian studies. So I'll end my remarks here and just say thank you very much. I want to thank the embassy for this wonderful opportunity. I will, as someone who's worked not quite as long as Alan, but not much shorter either, I will just second his comments. Indonesia is a great country. Indonesia is a great country. It's not simply an important country, it is a great country. And it's a great country for Americans to get to know, to study the language, to study the arts. And it is a great opportunity and time for all of us who love and care for and so respect Indonesia to work together to enhance collaboration between the United States and this wonderful, rich, and remarkable country, which is Indonesia. And I say that obviously with a little bit of bias, but I say that with full confidence. Indonesia is a great country, and this is a great time for those of you who are just beginning to study Indonesian or study Indonesian arts. This is a great time to get to know this wonderful country. So thank you, Ibu. And I want to thank the embassy and everybody involved in organizing this very welcome program. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Bob. We're really looking forward for having a great collaboration between IFIS, and then IFIS has many projects, and then for enhancing the quality of publication and also collaboration with many activities. Thank you very much for a very nice word. So actually, I would like to introduce Dr. Eric Jones. Do you still here? From the acting director from Southeast Center of Southeast Asian Studies from Northern Illinois University. Okay, I think yeah, it's okay. So we will introduce after I introduce the class. So let me introduce our class. So congratulations to all 291 registered participants as today that register at our virtual program. The first program is Indonesian language. So we would like to introduce our all instructor here. Firstly is Bapak Andang Purnama, and then Ibu Nona Noris, Pak Berlin Adi Pranedia, Pak Wimbo, Mbak Bunga, dan Ibu Kadek Sanjaya. And then for the Javanese langgam singing instructor is Mr. Murianto. He is our dearest and then the longest gamelan instructor from Indonesian Embassy in Washington, D.C. And then we also have the Jaipongan Den instructor. Firstly is Kang Dery and Mbak Nur. So Kang Dery has already he was the instructor for the Jaipongan dance at fall session. So I would like to also inform this is the schedule for our virtual class. For spring Javanese singing, it will be conducted every Monday at 6 to 8 p.m. and then it will begin next week, 12th of April. And then spring Indonesian language class for beginner is every Tuesday, next Tuesday, 13th of April. And then spring Jaipongan dance class will begin next Wednesday. And then spring Indonesian language intermediate will begin next Thursday. And then we also open for new participant who maybe will not be able to participate in the spring session. Will open for fall Indonesian language class beginner and also fall Indonesian language class intermediate. How about for Jaipongan and also for Javanese singing langgam? So we will see how many participants will register for this class. So we'll open at least 15 participants enroll in this class. So we'll open the class. Yeah. Okay, so I would like to call everyone as the instructor to show and then introduce yourself very brief, do the time. Firstly to Pak Andang, ya, name and the location, and then Bu Nona, Pak Beri dan lain sebagainya. Silakan Pak Andang.
Dalam bahasa Indonesia ya Bu?
Ya, silakan, singkat aja.
Terima kasih banyak Bu atas kesempatannya. Selamat malam untuk rekan-rekan, teman-teman semua, sahabat di Amerika Serikat, dan selamat pagi di Indonesia. Saya Andang Purnama, guru bahasa Indonesia untuk kelas pemula atau beginner class yang akan dimulai pada tanggal 13 April 2021 ini. Saya tinggal di College Park, Maryland, dan saya siap untuk menerima pertanyaan apapun terkait dengan kelas bahasa Indonesia. Terima kasih. Sampai jumpa pada Selasa depan. Salam.
Oke, selanjutnya Bu Nona.
Terima kasih Bu Poppy. Selamat malam dan selamat pagi. Perkenalkan, saya Nona Kurniani Noris. Pada semester ini saya akan mengajar kelas intermediate dan advance kalau ada siswanya. Sekarang saya tinggal di kota Manassas di Virginia. Terima kasih, sampai bertemu minggu depan hari Kamis jam 6 sore waktu Eastern Standard Time ya. Terima kasih. Selamat malam, selamat pagi.
Ya, terima kasih. Kemudian selanjutnya Mas Berlin.
Halo, bisa dengar?
Ya, bisa.
Selamat pagi dan selamat malam rekan-rekan dan teman-teman semua. Nama saya Berlin Adi Pranedia. Saya salah satu guru bahasa Indonesia. Saya akan mengajar kelas beginner dan saya tinggal di kota Yogyakarta di Indonesia. Sampai jumpa minggu depan.
Ya, terima kasih. Selanjutnya Mas Wimbo.
Ya, selamat pagi dan selamat malam semua. Saya Wimbo. Kalau Anda Anda akan ada di kelas pemula, Anda akan bertemu saya di kelas minggu depan. Saya tinggal di Salatiga, Jawa Tengah. Sampai jumpa ya di kelas.
Ya, terima kasih. Selanjutnya Mbak Bunga.
Selamat pagi dan selamat malam semuanya. Nama saya Bunga Mastari. Saya akan mengajar di kelas pemula dan saya berasal dari Bali, Indonesia. Sampai jumpa minggu depan. Terima kasih.
Ya, selanjutnya Mas Sanjaya, Mas Kadek, hadir?
Ya, hadir.
Ya,
baik, selamat malam untuk teman-teman dan rekan-rekan yang ada di Amerika, dan selamat pagi dari Bali, Indonesia. Perkenalkan, nama saya I Kadek Sanjaya. Saya berasal dari kota Singaraja, Bali Utara, Indonesia. Dan saya akan menjadi pengajar kelas level intermediate untuk Spring Indonesian Class. Mungkin di Amerika akan ada di hari Kamis, tapi di Bali di hari Jumat. Baik, sampai jumpa di kelas semuanya. Terima kasih.
Ya, terima kasih Pak Mur berhalangan hadir, namun pada saat kelas berlangsung akan tiba ya saatnya untuk mengajar. Selanjutnya Kang Dery. Singkat saja perkenalan, masih ada Kang Dery?
Ya, masih ada Bu. Assalamualaikum. Selamat malam waktu di sana. Perkenalkan, nama saya Dery Al-Badri, pengajar di kelas Jaipong. Saya berasal dari Bandung, Jawa Barat, Indonesia. Sampai ketemu di kelas nanti hari Rabu waktu di sana.
Ya, terima kasih. Selanjutnya Mbak Nur.
Halo, selamat pagi. Selamat malam untuk waktu di sana. Perkenalkan, saya Nur Fitriani Fajira. Saya akan mendampingi Dery untuk mengajar tari Jaipong. Izinkan saya menyapa sebagian yang saya kenal, Amanda. Baik, sampai jumpa di kelas minggu depan. Terima kasih.
Iya, terima kasih untuk semuanya. Okay. So we would like to inform. Please fill out the form that we have provided in the Zoom chat, the chat room. This is a self-assessment, so we would like to know the level of your Indonesian language proficiency. Whether you are in 0 level, means that none of Indonesian would know by yourself, and then just fill out the form, and then we would like to know, so you will be assigned to different group. There will be 4 beginner classes, since the participant is around 122 participants, and then so there will be around 2 or 3 intermediate class. Since intermediate class is around 63 participants, so maybe we will assign to 2 classes or 3 classes. It depends on the proficiency level of all the participants. So we are hoping that we could get the feedback from participant who has already registered as the participant. Okay, if you have any question, please send the question in the chat room or email to us. We have already emailed all the information through our email, education@embassyofIndonesia.org. Okay. Now, if we still have time, sorry to Pak Eric, do you still available to introduce you? Pak Eric John, he just got the second shot of the COVID vaccine, and I believe that he is not really well. It's okay if it's not. Yeah, okay. Now we also would like to inform, after we got the information about the proficiency of your Bahasa Indonesia, so we will contact to inform about the material, and then all information that should be delivered to all the participants of virtual classes of Indonesian Embassy. I think that's all about our information. Before we go to the next session, we would like to invite Professor Amin to explain about UKBI. Just a very brief information, Pak Amin, Professor Amin, do you still available here in the Zoom room?
Yeah, I'm still here, Bu Popi.
Yeah.
Well,
Amin, would
well,
you...
thank you, Bu Popi. UKBI, or Uji Kemahiran Bahasa Indonesia, or Indonesian Language Assessment, is intended to measure the Indonesian level of all learners. At the moment, we have developed a new version of this test, which we call as the UKBI Adaptive Merdeka. This is a very new version, and this is intended as, let's say, a new way of testing assessing Indonesian competence of the learners. So there is no more UKBI for foreigners or for native speakers, because we only have one set, and this can be adapted to your level. So when you feel you're interested in joining this, you can access our website, Badan Bahasa, and then you will be led to learn how this test is working. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Amin. So UKBI means that this is the once you finish completing 14 session of virtual virtual classes. So we will invite all participants to attend the UKBI. Yeah, this is a kind of the Indonesian language proficiency test. So it's not hard. We just want to know how far you accomplish the competency of Bahasa Indonesia, as mentioned by Professor Amin as the head of the Bahasa Indonesia Lembaga Bahasa Indonesia. Okay, we also would like to inform after you attend the 14th session of virtual session, we also will provide a showcase, a virtual showcase. The virtual showcase is showing how far you could accomplish in learning Bahasa Indonesia, in Javanese langgam singing, and also in Jaipongan dance. So part of we also have been done since the last spring 2020. You may see here the link that we have provided in our website. Every class who has already finished in every session, so we provide the session for showing your competency in accomplishing the language Bahasa Indonesia language. Okay, I think that's all the information. Please visit the website of Indonesian Embassy to get more information about the virtual showcase and then about the book that mentioned by Pak Alan Feinstein, the director of Aminef, Fulbright Aminef, and also all other information that could enrich your information about Bahasa Indonesia virtual classes and also other program such as cultural program. Thank you very much. So I will give back to Pak Matt.
Thank you so much, Bu Poppy. You do so much for Indonesian culture in the United States, and I really congratulate you on these wonderful endeavors. So I think we're actually almost done here tonight, and the last thing we want to do is take a photo of all the participants. So if everybody could turn their webcam on, if you would care to be in the photograph, please do so now, and Mr. Arya from the embassy will be taking care of taking the photograph.
Good evening and morning, everybody. I'm going to take a screenshot. Please hold your smile and see your webcam. Please hold for 10 seconds. I'm going to count from now. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Arya. Okay, we're going to close our evening now. And I just want to say thank you for everybody for attending. And thank you for all of our wonderful speakers who introduced their programs. Thank you for all the teachers who are going to be providing such wonderful education to all of us, myself included, in the upcoming sessions. And we look forward to more programming throughout 2021. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Bu Poppy, and have a good evening.
Okay,
Yeah. Thank you. Terima kasih semuanya.
Silahkan
Selamat malam.
Ya, if want to, ya.
Thank you.
Terima kasih Bu Poppy. Terima kasih semua.
Ya, terima kasih.
Selamat malam.
Yang sudah hadir dari Koti. Terima kasih Bapak Ibu, Pak Indrio.
Terima kasih Poppy. Selamat